Activities here on the Lagos Island, where there's been a twin fire disaster earlier today, and of course the fire that gutted a building on Balogun Street, that's the popular Balogun Market, had been put out very early enough. But the one here on Oluwole, that's in Oluwole Market, where it's adjacent Mandilas, that's a very popular area on the Lagos Island, is yet to be put out. And the earlier report was that for close to 9 hours now, as I speak to you, the fire service has been battling to put out this fire. And just shortly before I came on air, I was speaking with the acting head of the Lagos State Fire Service, Margaret Adesheye, who told me that in just few minutes the fire will be out. So she's here on ground with me and to give us a situation report. Margaret Adesheye, I know you've been working with your men so hard for hours now. Can you tell us what the situation is right now in trying to extinguish the fire? Because I can see you're still trying to battle and there's been reinforcement of water trucks.
Yes, we've engaged on 10-hour intensive firefighting operation. At the two fire at a go, one at Martin Street, Lagos Island, the second one at Dosumu. Simultaneously, we are fighting the two fire at a go.
Can you tell us what the difficulty is? Because I did understand earlier that the fire servicemen were not able to get the fire seat. Is that the situation?
The problem earlier on was the crowd control problem. That was the constraint we had in the morning. There was crowd control problem. The passage was so too tight for the fire engine to move. These difficulties have brought about delay in fighting the fire initially.
So what's the situation right now? You did mention to me a few minutes before you came on air that in few minutes the fire will be put out. Is that the reason for the reinforcement of fire trucks? Now the camera can just quickly pan to the right where we see another water truck coming in. I think that's the reinforcement. You want to tell us about this reinforcement?
Yes, in a short period we'll be out here. The fire is almost out. In a short period we'll be out.
But there's a reinforcement, which means that you need more hands. Is that not the situation?
Yes, we need not more hands really. We replenish our truck, fire engine. After using the two truck, we'll be out.
But what exactly is the issue with the fire? Because I was here for over hours now, 2 hours now, and I saw that it's fighting back.
We have enough chemical to fight the fire. We have enough fire engine on ground to fight the fire. The situation was that early in the morning, we met on ground, the generator industrial one at the top of the building, likewise the tank full with the fuel, diesel tank.
Okay, did anyone tell you how the fire erupted? Because I've heard from eyewitnesses that a generator was on or people were just trying to, scoop fuel, refuel a generator. What have you gathered?
We've not been able to detect we've gotten any information through that. Investigation is still on that.
So what is the reassurance now that this fire will go off in a few minutes?
In a few moments we'll be out here. The fire will be out.
Okay, I must tell you now that that's Margaret Adesheye, the acting head of Lagos State Fire Service, reassuring us that the fire will be put out in just a few minutes. We hope. We are still on ground monitoring this. However, in my earlier report, I did say that the building which was gutted by fire, has started collapsing, and of course, some part of it that fell with a very heavy iron rod fell on one of the policemen who was on guard here, and that was an instant death, and his body was taken away. And other traders who have been told about the fire. Perhaps they never knew about it, but ran out here to find out what the situation is with their own shops. One of them fainted and was taken away. And of course, there's still full hope that she'll be resuscitated and brought back to life. But I must tell you that one of the reasons and what we have seen here is that there are lots of consumables in this particular building that fire has gutted, and these consumables are clothing, very expensive clothing, because on this axis of Lagos Island, this is where they sell all of these very expensive laces and clothing. So these clothing are fueling the fire the more. So we're just hoping that the firemen will be able to extinguish the fire. Melinda, I must tell you that the situation is rather still the same. Even though the fire is no longer raging and blazing like it was doing earlier, the fire is still burning and firefighters are still here trying to ensure that the fire is totally put out. They've been trying all of their efforts. Now, since we arrived here, I've seen about 4 fire water trucks here trying to do their job. But the most difficult aspect of it is that these buildings are conjoined, and the particular building that was gutted by fire is closely conjoined with other buildings. So it's pretty difficult for firefighters to gain access into where they can really get the seat of the fire. So they are still here trying to put out the fire. And of course, I do understand from an eyewitness who spoke on condition of anonymity that there could be a large tank of fuel in this particular building that has been gutted by fire. I can't immediately ascertain those statements, but that's what I did gather from an eyewitness. And of course, going back to the firefighters, their trucks are still here. The firefighters are here, and they've promised that for sure the fire will be put out before they leave this site. Melinda?